Hello everybody, Gisele Grenier here. In this video tutorial, I'm going to be creating a test piece for a bigger piece of artwork, and the idea is to create a inspirational canvas with the words "dance like nobody's watching," to have music coming through the letters. I know how I want to do it. I don't have the product to do it, so I'm going to do a test this way. And then I'm going to reach out to Decor with an idea that I have to see if it's all right if I do it, because of copyright things. So let me walk you through the process, and then I'll explain why I need to work it out. And I was making some notes on the steps to make sure they would make sense. Let me just get everything here. Okay, so I've got my art journal here, and it's just made with 140-pound watercolor paper. And what I want to do is, first I'm going to gesso the page, and I'm going to use the Decor chalky gesso for this because it's got a lot of tooth. So I'm going to gesso the page first, and then I'm going to paint the corner because I tore the paper, and I want this part exposed with blue. And I'm going to use the Decor medium fluid acrylics, cobalt teal hue, and cobalt turquoise hue, not mixed together, but applied separate. Then is to collage the music paper. This was gifted to me by my friend Cheryl, and I need to position it in a way that I can fit this beautiful stencil. This is the Decor Americana Decor. It's called Live, and it's 2 stencils that you get in the package. And this particular one here, I want this big one. It says "Dance Like Nobody's Watching." I want to fit that here without that emblem. So dance this way, and then like nobody's watching in the corner. My idea was, though, I'm going to do this project different because I want to reach out to Decor first. I wanted to have the paper actually show through. So the idea was to paint this, and I think, okay, well, I can rub out the paint. It's not going to be crisp. So I thought, what would be if it was a reverse stencil, which I don't have, is if I take this and I run it through my scan and cut to create the actual die cut letters and of this stencil, and then I can temporarily tack them onto the music paper, paint everything to lift the letters up, and the music paper will be raw, showing through. That's what I want to ask them if I can do that. And that's inspired by one of their mixed media stencils where they actually have the positive and negative on the stencil. So instead, what I'm going to do, just so I can get 2 versions, is, so the blue will be here. I'll collage this on the paper, and then what I'll do is I'll paint the paper, and I want like a Caribbean feel to it, with the Decor medium fluid acrylics, Pearl Orange, Naphthol Red Light, and Titanium White to get a coral color. Paint all of that, let that dry, then come back with the same mixture again. Okay, and I might add a bit more of the paint, less white, and then stencil this over here, and then cover with a layer of varnish. But this would have been so much nicer to having the raw music paper showing through. I have tried it before where, to paint and then, rub that to try to get it through. I couldn't get the effect. I could try it again, but it just didn't get it. Not with this music paper, because it's really delicate. So we'll see what happens. Because I only have this one sheet. That's all I have. So if I have the courage, then I'll do that. Oh, not going to open this jar. I've got it put into this little tube here because it's easier to manage. Okay, so the chalky gesso on the paper, and if what's underneath is important, just put a piece of wax paper. I use this. This is my experimental journal. I do all my experiments in here. So with delicate paper, you just have to be a little bit more careful when rubbing out the paint. Otherwise you might tear it. Then the other idea I had, which was I'll show you the previous page. The other idea I had was the inspiration for that was to use a matte medium, which I did with this one here. Not the matte medium, the heavy gel medium. To do that, Okay, so that technique here. So use stencil the heavy gel medium, the Decor heavy gel medium, and then put the paint on and then just wipe it out. But that quite wasn't what I was looking for. Alright, so we just put that in there. Alright, so that's drying, so it won't take long to dry. So now the next step is to paint the blue. I'm hoping I can get this whole project done, not including drying time. Oh, in like 15 minutes. It's meant to be a quick project. Because the studies that I do, I call them studies, but the experiments that I do like this, it's not meant to be finished pieces. It's meant to be, you know, to get a rough idea, like a brainstorm, trial run. Just to see how that works. So I'm going to take the cobalt turquoise, the fluid acrylics, and I'm going to take the cobalt teal hue, so they have a nice contrast. And just to, so the cobalt teal hue is PB28 and the cobalt turquoise hue is PB36, PG7, PBK7, PW6. So for those of you that have done my color mixing courses, you'll have an idea on how to make that color. And let me just blot that out. Now I want to, where's my palette knife? And I'm just going to take some colors and I'm just going to smush them. And although this isn't going to show through, all I'm doing is to make sure that I don't have any hard edges. Just to create that nice contrast. The cobalt teal hue, the contrast to coral is absolutely beautiful. Let me just get rid of, just getting rid of a lot of that there. I wonder what would happen if I bubble wrapped that. Yeah. Okay, done. Okay. Comment below how many of you would get excited when you use bubble wrap in your art. Let me know. Alright, so I'm going to dry that. Won't take long to dry. And then the next thing is to collage the music paper. I want to thank Cheryl for sending me that music paper. Can you buy music paper? I wonder if I could buy music paper with the with the notes and the lyrics to Thunderstruck, because I would make a massive canvas, absolute massive canvas with that. So how much room do I need? If I put that closer to the bottom, just making sure I have I want a lot of blue showing. Let me just tear a little bit more. Okay, that fits perfectly. How much room do I have? Okay. This is just the planning stage now. I don't want that emblem, so I'm going to, just a mental note, because I always have a habit. Okay, so we have, ooh, I didn't even think of this part. Oh, that's right to the very edge. Holy crap. Get that out of the way. Wow, okay. So I'll have to keep that in mind. Oh, that's the very edge. Okay, so I better size this properly right now. Alright, so let me just quickly just cut this. I'll just use the line that's here. How far does that go? Right, that high tech, right? Right. So that will go right to the edge. That gives me about that much room for that. All right, this will work. Just going to trim that down. So it'll wrap around. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's collage that. And I'm hoping not to have to do any edits, like stop for drying time. I would like to be able to show you this in real time. I don't know if it'll be possible though. Okay, so I'm going to apply matte medium to the whole piece. And if you don't have matte medium, you can use a decoupage medium as well. But the decoupage medium is a little bit thinner. So I'm going to move that to the side. And now I'm going to put it on this piece here. And if you find that your paper is curling as well, you can spray the paper with a little bit of water first, which kind of relaxes it, and then put on your matte medium. And I just realized I'm going to pull this up now, and I'm going to have matte medium on the actual palette paper. On the floor. And by doing both sides, you have a little bit more time to move it around. I'm moving it right to the edge. So I think I'm going to try doing that rub out. I think I'm going to try it. I don't know if it'll work. I would love to try it. But I know that if I rub to get the paint off of it, this is going to break down. So I'm going to take the matte medium. I'm going to put a layer of matte medium over this whole piece. Just to give it one layer of protection. Now, while I'm working, while that's going to tack up, I have to leave that there. So I'm going to try with 1 part of Naphthol Red Light, 1 part of Pearl Orange. I think Paranone Orange would have been a little nicer. And then 2 parts of Titanium White. And I'm going to use the same brush. And the color I'm going for is the coral color that was on the outside of our suite when we went to Freeport at Pelican Bay. Oh God, that was such a beautiful color. All the hotel rooms, there were suites, and the outside was all painted. Like some were teal, some were coral, some were like a sea color and green, and the one that we had was coral. And it was beautiful. Oops, there's an air bubble in here. I wasn't paying attention. Alright, so that's... I don't know if this is... I hope this works. So now I'm thinking I'm going to put the stencil on, and it's going to lift up some of the paint. But if that's what happens, then I'll deal with it. baby wipe, preferably one that's not all torn. It doesn't have to be. It's too much. I still want some color in there. Oh, sugar. That didn't quite. Didn't quite. The stencil's too small here. Well, okay, my idea, what I wanted, will work, but I have to ask Decor if I can take this stencil, run it through my scan and cut to get a reverse version. That's really pretty. That's really pretty. Okay, so that idea will work. So I just have to find out if I can do that. But while I'm here, I'm just going to distress a little bit of this, because I want to come back, and if I had not put matte medium on here, wouldn't been able to do this. I want to be able to stencil. I could stencil this with white, but I didn't want it with white. Just a little bit of edging here. Nice. Okay, put that in there. Now I'm going to add more. Actually, I'm going to go right here. I'm going to pure Naphtha Red Light and Pyrrole Orange. 1-to-1, so it's without the white. Mix that up. Now just take a little bit of that, just to make it a little bit more opaque. Wonder what it would look like with blue. The blue is transparent though. Okay, let me stick with my original plan. Just dry that. Okay, right to the very end. I'm going to go right over the same letters. That is right to the edge. Right there. This stencil's really long. Really long. Let's see if I can bend that. So I'm going to load the brush, then I'm going to blot it on a paper towel that's on the side. Ooh. If you have like oh, that paper's breaking up. Oh, some of the matte medium must have come up. If you have stencil adhesive, like a spray, that comes in so handy. Now, the other thing, that if this still doesn't work, let's say my letters, you know, I got paint underneath, then the next time I do it, I know to use, I'm working really fast right now, is to use maybe the Traditions, or just work a little slower. Not what I was going for. It'll do, but not what I was going for. So this experiment now could be, what if I just went right into the blue? Right with the dirty brush. Wonder what would happen. Wonder if it would be too grungy. I think it's too grungy. And you know what? I didn't position it high enough. I'm right on the very edge again. Not liking that. Not liking that at all. So, baby wipe. Wipe that up. I just do it on here. Let me just clean that off. Okay. Let's do that again. Get a fresh brush. But you see where the effect I was going for, right? Position that a little bit higher. You could also use a pen and just outline. Oh, that might be a nice idea. But the effect that I wanted was basically to wipe out, to only expose the music paper. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, since this is an experimental piece, and this is all about experimenting, would that have looked better with white paint instead of the coral? Just get this out of the way. That would be something to try. Would that have looked nicer with white? I don't know. Yeah, some of the paper's coming up. It's easy enough to try. What I will do though is come in, put another layer of matte medium on there. When you have the matte medium underneath, you can wipe it out. So the next thing with trying with the white, I can wipe it out and it'll come back to this. That's the beauty of the matte medium. Yeah, that would have been nice if I could have pulled all that out. But you know what else would have been neat is using this effect as well. This here with the gel medium. That would have been nice. Would have really stood out. Okay, so let's try with that. I'm going to use actually this time the Decor Media Gesso. Cover that up. I'm going to, I said I wasn't going to pause the video so you can see this in real time. I know there's a lot of time here. You can fast forward. Go. So there's not enough contrast with the words. There's got enough contrast with the words, so get another brush. Use the gesso. Now now if you guys have been following me, you know that I have 3 versions of the Decor Media Gesso. One that I've added distilled water to make it thin, one that's as is, and one I've opened up, stirred to let the water evaporate to make it super thick. With that now, with the Decor Chalky Gesso, I don't need to thin it down anymore. That works just as fine. And this one here is the one where I've stirred it to make it really, really thick. Almost like an impasto style. But you have to work fast because it is really thick. See? You don't have to wipe out much. If I went off a little bit, no, this way. No, this way. I'm thinking of creating a shadow. So get it right lined up. And move it to the left a bit and up to create a shadow. Let's see what happens with that. Too many experiments right now. Wow, this is really thick. Try to keep the stencil brush up high so you're not going on an angle. And this is one of the nice things about doing this in a journal, is that you're not, it's an experiment. You would not believe how many emails I get from you guys that you want to learn something new, but you're afraid of wasting. Don't think of it as wasting. You're investing in your knowledge. You're investing in, you know, trying new things. And for the love of all things holy, do not try a new technique or new art supply, whatever, on an expensive canvas. Do it in a journal first where it doesn't matter, because if this doesn't work, like when this journal's full, I'm going to go back and I'm going to paint over all the pages. Experiment, have fun. I find that if you're working with expensive supplies, you're going to be hesitant on being okay with making mistakes. What I'm doing now is I'm looking at the music note paper to see if I can get that covered up. Oh, that's cool! With that shadow, that is really cool. Oh, I wonder if I can do that with this as well. Probably not. The letters are too small. But that sprayed adhesive, oh my god, would really come in handy right now. Because the stencil is so long, it's bending. Oh, Joe's home. Good timing. Hi, Mia. She's coming here to say, Daddy's home, Daddy's home, Daddy's home. The white, yeah, the white is so much nicer. All right, so when this is dry, I'm going to put medium on it. So what did I learn? Well, what I learned is I need to make this shape a lot more interesting. This is boring, absolutely boring, but I could use this to put a collage of, let's say, if I was, if I could find a picture of me when I was little dancing, I could collage a photograph here of that. What else did I learn? I'm going to reach out to Decor to see if I can run this stencil through their stick iron cut so I can get cutouts of the letters, so I can do a full reverse stencil with a mask. I'm preferring this coral color, so less white on that. So it'll be darker, which means then when the paint over the letters and then pull the letters up, the contrast is going to be stronger. And what I may do is, I hate doing this with the stencil, I may actually cut it so it's not so long on my table. But yeah, change the shape. And, you know, to change the shape, I mean, I could do that now. I mean, I can just, you know, put in, you know, stencil or collage other pieces of paper here, you know, no big deal. But the idea itself, and now the idea for my canvas, it's going to be, I think it's a 10 by 10 canvas, which is what I'm looking at. And then on the edges, oh, let's see if I can do this now. Okay, so I'm just going to put out some rose gold, just a little bit. Now, if I could reach, I would use the wax metallic. So this is the Decor Extreme Sheen Rose Gold. The one I was looking for in the wax metallics is actually called Coral, but all I want to do is add a shine to it. So all I'm thinking now is just on the edge, is just finishing that edge. So on the actual canvas, the edge will have some of this metallic, and I could put that on with a brush, or a foam brush I should say. Yeah, this is transparent, so it's going to take a few layers. And what I'm doing is I'm just finishing off. So on the wraparound canvas where the coral will go over, they'll put the shimmer on the sides and it'll just come over. So on the paper it's really not going to show. So I'll put the side of the canvas and then just slightly over to almost create like a vignette. But this is too small. This is too small. There we go. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so this gave me a good... Now, can you imagine if I would have done this on an actual... Because the canvases up here in Canada, they're not cheap. They're expensive. So the particular canvas I had, which is triple primed museum quality, that canvas was $25. Can you imagine if I would have done an experiment on that? I'd be just... But you know what? Even if I would have done this on the canvas, a coat of gesso would have fixed it. Now, I'm stuck with this music paper I don't have any more of. But if any of you guys know where I can, if you've seen, I mean, I can do a search for it, but if you've seen the music paper with notes that's legally available for sale of Thunderstruck. When that song comes on, Joe and I just kind of do a thing. So a lot of things that I would do on the finished piece, and when I've done that piece, I will show you guys what it looks like. But let me know in the comments below, you know, first of all, if you've seen the music paper like that, what color combinations you would use for your own decor. If you have a specific technique for what I was trying to do, if you've done it before, how would you have done the reverse stencil process? And if you've done something like this. All right, so that's it. I will let you go, and until I see you in the next video, stay inspired.